Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Does Easter Bunny visit your house? Easter, another celebration which brings about many different experiences to many people. What meaning does Easter have for you? Do you have a religious belief and a commitment to the traditions of Christianity? Do you enjoy the new life symbolism of the pagan spring festivals, when new life was celebrated as spring begins? Or do you just appreciate the holiday time with family and friends and celebrate with an overabundance of chocolate eggs and Easter buns? Easter for many is celebrated as a Christian holiday to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. According to the Bible, Jesus was crucified on a Friday, now known as Good Friday, and his body was placed in a tomb. 3 days later, on Sunday, his tomb was found to be empty, and it was said he had risen from the dead. This event is considered to be the cornerstone of Christian faith and is celebrated as Easter Sunday. Easter is also associated with other treasured traditions and symbols, such as baby chickens and rabbits and Easter eggs, which have their roots in pagan spring festivals that were celebrated long before the advent of Christianity. Easter is a holiday celebrated all around the world, and there are some common and unique traditions and customs that are followed throughout the world. One of the things that's the most popular worldwide is the Easter egg hunt, where children search for hidden eggs that are often filled with candy and small toys. In European countries such as Germany and Sweden, bonfires are lit on Easter Sunday. These bonfires symbolise the end of winter and the arrival of spring in many countries. Over the years, they've become a fun way for community members to come together and celebrate the coming spring. For countries with strong Catholic backgrounds, such as Spain and Mexico, Holy Week processions are a significant part of the Easter celebration. They often include elaborate floats and costumes and are meant to commemorate the events leading up to Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. And then there's the Easter bread. Many countries have their own version of Easter bread, which is often sweetened and spiced with ingredients like cinnamon, nutmeg, and raisins. The most popular examples of this in the Eastern world are hot cross buns. These breads are also known as paska in Ukraine and pinka in Croatia. Countries such as Hungary and Poland celebrate Easter Monday by splashing water on friends and family. This custom is supposed to have thought of being a symbol of cleansing and renewal. In Greece, those who celebrate Easter through the Orthodox Church forego the typical mixture of colours when it comes time to dye eggs, instead focusing on a singular shade, red. The crimson-hued eggs are doubly symbolic, since they use the eggs to represent rebirth and the colour red for Jesus' blood, marking the triumphant return of the Son of God. People can get very creative with their red eggs, creating different shades, intricate designs, and more. Today I'll be looking at Easter through my eyes, the fun and love of life, of family and friends that Easter brings to our family, as we eat too much chocolate and too many Easter buns. I do love the traditional myths and joys of Christmas, Easter, and the Tooth Fairy. I'm not religious, but when I was young, Mum was a practising Catholic, and Easter Mass was always part of our Easter morning. Our Easter Sunday Easter egg hunt began before going to church, and the memories of Easter was running around the garden in great excitement looking for Easter eggs with my 3 brothers. As all parents do, my mother dutifully, as Easter Bunny, ensured that equal amounts of eggs were hidden in the garden for us. However, some squabbles occurred when the division of eggs was made, and the person who had collected the most was usually very reluctant to give their extra eggs up. Competition was king in our household. Seriously, nothing's ever easy in parenting. Calming down the ensuing argument as we divided up the eggs must have been so frustrating. As parents ourselves, we loved watching our kids as toddlers and young children running around the yard with their baskets looking for eggs and squealing with delight when they found them. So cute. We have beautiful photos and memories of these occasions. Do you? Easter Sunday was a huge day where all members of the family, up to 35 at times, came to our house, and many Easter eggs were exchanged, and much wine went down. Despite the kids flying around high on sugar and food colouring, the wine must have numbed us, as we did continue this tradition for many years to come. The one thing I want to talk about here is the traditions that you create within your family about these different festivities. No matter what those traditions are, These are often things that your children would take into their lives and repeat every year. These occasions can be part of a beautiful family tradition that can stay for even a lifetime. So make sure that you start them the way you want to finish. When Easter Bunny visited our house, they used to leave so many eggs, big and small, and a cute Easter toy. Great, and it worked really well for many years. I managed to keep the Easter Bunny story going for a long time. And then it began to be fraught with issues, such as finding another cute toy that they hadn't seen in the shops to pop into the Easter egg hunt. They ate too much chocolate, and asking them not to, I couldn't. Then working out ways to keep the story a secret became even harder. Easter Bunny delivered such an extravagant amount of Easter eggs around the yard. This didn't matter in the beginning because the kids actually didn't eat many of those eggs. They'd put them in their basket on a shelf in their bedroom and have one every now and then forget about them. Now, Paul and I would often snack on them when they weren't looking. However, one year Cassie asked to have some from her basket, and Paul and I had eaten the back out of several of her Easter eggs. This was to ensure that there was actually no change to the front of the egg, so it couldn't be seen. So reluctantly we took them off the shelf and then pretended to look really shocked as we told Cass that there must be a mouse in the house and he'd actually eaten the back of them. So we actually had to throw them out. I know, our noses did grow longer. There's nothing wrong with a little white lie here and there. With these experiences under my belt, my advice is to think about the Easter traditions that you create. Today I'm talking to people about their Easter experiences and traditions and what the celebration of Easter means to them. I'm Kate Mason and welcome to Parenting and Personalities. This is the podcast that connects you to the ones that you care about the most. I'm talking to Camille. She has 2 young sons and she's going to tell me what happened for her at Easter traditionally when she was young and what she now does for her children.
Hi, Kate. So when I was young, my mum and dad made Easter really magical, but my dad would do cryptic clues that I had to solve to find a stash of Easter eggs. And then the final clue, which was usually the 10th clue, had like the mother load of Easter eggs at the end. And they were always, really kind of riddles, like out there riddles. And I loved it. And I kept all my Easter eggs for the entire year until next Easter in their beautiful, packaging, whatever that foil, all the colours. And by next Easter, they turned white. Mum would throw them out and we'd replace them with a new batch.
Excellent.
So that was great. I didn't eat them. So our boys, we have 2 boys. We do the clues as well because I just love the tradition and I've actually kept my dad's clues. So
That's beautiful.
he used to write
really
them
lovely.
on the back of TAB betting cards.
Maybe not so good.
We don't do that. We don't do that. So we do the same thing with the boys and they get all their eggs divided up between the 2 of them. And then my husband comes in for the next few weeks and steals them of a night time and eats them himself. Not great with our eldest who counts the eggs. So he knows someone's stealing them.
Bit of a disaster there.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That's wonderful. I'm talking to Mick. Now, Mick's going to let us know what he did as a child and what he now does for his adult children. Here we go.
Yes, well, as a child, we were just given 1 or 2 big eggs with Smarties in or chocolate buttons. But once we had kids, we did the big Easter egg hunt thing, hiding them in the gardens and everything. And now the kids are 34, 27 and 31.
Yeah.
We still do an Easter egg hunt for them. So we hide actually things indoors more, in light fitting, stuff like that. But now they've got kids, we also hide stuff in the garden so that the kids can go out and try and find it.
So Mick actually hides his Easter eggs in the kids' gardens the night before.
Yes.
And he tells us that he actually got rumbled by one of their neighbours. So what did they say to you?
Last year they said, we know what you're doing. How much is it? How much are you going to give me not to tell them what you've been doing? Same happens at Christmas, funnily enough.
Right.
So we do the same thing at Christmas. We put Santa's presents
Yes.
around the back.
Excellent.
Do it like that.
And this is for children and grandchildren.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic, Mick. Thank you so much for that. Now, there's an idea. You don't actually ever get rid of those traditions. You just keep on going. I'm talking to Ash. Now, Ash is going to talk to me about his childhood Easters and what he does now.
So we always did fish on the Good Friday. And then it was just the usual Easter treats, eggs, Easter egg hunts. Usually always went to the beach.
Right.
Had a shack at Wallaroo, so always went there for the weekend. And
Did you have other family members with you, or was it just your family?
just my grandparents were there as well. And just have a nice, on the Sunday, always had a roast dinner.
So it was really just a really relaxing week.
Yeah, relaxing, yeah.
Yep.
Nothing religious.
So, no. So the fish, was it fish on Friday? that you
Always,
had?
yes,
So
on the Good Friday.
a little bit religious.
Yeah.
Just a throw in there. So that's all good. Thank you. And what do you do now at Easter?
Now, there's mainly just chill at home.
Yep.
Again,
Yeah.
definitely the chocolate eggs.
And a lot of wine?
Wine. Oh, that's right. And then we go to my partner's auntie's places, buns and champagne.
Excellent.
So we start early.
Perfect.
So there's a lot of eating, a lot of champagne.
I'm speaking to Laura. So Laura's going to tell us about her traditions.
All right, so when I was younger, Good Friday, we always had a toasted hot cross bun. That was just sort of the main thing we did. And then on Easter, we'd always go to church. So in the morning, and we'd go to one where they did an Easter egg hunt partway through. So all the children got to go off, which was the best part, obviously.
Lucky you. Best church. Yeah.
And the goal was obviously to get the most Easter eggs. So that was good. And then we always had like a hot chicken lunch.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
And so nowadays, what do you do?
So all my family is in Queensland, so it's just me and my brother.
Okay.
So we still do our hot cross buns on Good Friday, and then we just do eggs in the morning, and sometimes do hot lunch. Yeah.
I'm talking to Lily. Lily has 2 little girls, and I'm just going to ask Lil, what was the best thing that you loved about Easter as a child?
Our Easter egg hunts were epic. We had a huge backyard and lots of flowers and bushes and trees, and Mum and Dad would hide tiny eggs, the small ones you can get, just everywhere. We would have about 50 or 60 hidden that Mum would have hidden either that morning or the night before, and they'd be everywhere. And we'd have our Easter baskets. Me and my 3 other sisters would just race around our massive backyard, and we would just find them everywhere. It was so exciting, and it's something I still remember now because it was so nice. And we used to just come back with these full baskets of eggs, and it was magic. It was really, really cool.
Beautiful. So how are you going to set your Easter traditions up for your 2 little girls?
Well, honestly, that's a tricky one because as a single mum, it's hard to hide them in the morning without them knowing.
True.
And I can't have the distraction of somebody else, or the TV barely works, especially on Easter morning. So I don't know. I might be having to go for the inside hunt because ants can be an issue if you leave them too long, if you do outside. And I'm not sure. I'd love to do a big hunt if I had a big garden. That would be my dream, is to do the exact same thing my parents did for us. But at the moment, inside might have to be the way it goes.
So I'm talking to Sally. Sally's just going to tell us a few things that she did with her children when they were younger and what she does when they're older.
Okay, when they were younger, we used to go to Berry Caravan Park, and every Easter for about 5 years, and they'd have fun. They'd meet the same people every year. Would go. You'd lose them for 5 days, which was really good. But then the caravan park used to have what I used to call a scary bunny that used to come round Easter morning, giving them. I can't remember whether it was chocolate eggs or a carrot, but yeah, they had fun doing it, so it was good. Yeah.
So scary bunny or not, did you ever give lots of Easter eggs to your kids, or did you? Where did they have Easter bunny at home?
Yeah, they had Easter Bunny at home as well. So we always celebrated Easter. Even I think when I was little, I was on a farm when I was little. But with my boys, we'd hide the eggs and they'd have to go and find them each morning or on the Sunday morning.
And so what do you do now that they're adults?
I buy them something that they need and put an egg to it. Could be Peter Alexander pyjamas.
Yep, cool. That's exactly what I do for mine. I'm talking to Sherry about her Easter. Sherry, let us know what you used to do.
When we were younger, I think we used to head away for the weekend, pack up the car and go away wherever, might be down south to friend's place or whatever. We used to get our chocolates Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, and usually like a small gift as well, like a game or a toy or something.
So how long did you believe in Easter Bunny for?
I still believe in Easter Bunny.
Of course you do. Of course you do. When you're getting gifts and a toy, tell me what the toy was again that I said, oh my goodness.
Oh, I remember one year I got an Xbox game.
My children would have been so jealous. So Easter Bunny, just watch it, because be very careful, because sometimes you have to live up to these things that you give. So what do you do now?
Nothing too much, really. Trying to think of what to do this year. I might head away to Loxton for the weekend and spend some time with my mum and her friends. And
lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing. Think about the way you celebrate Easter. Will your traditions last? Are they healthy? Food-wise, that is. Are they too expensive? Are they a learning experience? Does your child experience giving to others and not just receiving? In retrospect, if I was to start off my Easter traditions again, it would be less chocolate and possibly not a toy. I would make it more about other traditions and experiences, such as decorating and painting real eggs, rather than focusing on being a consumer where advertising rules. Having said this, I must admit that the Easter hunt continued in our house for many years. When Easter Bunny was no longer a thing and the kids didn't want chocolate, I replaced the eggs with the money that I spent on each child with dollar coins and hid them around the backyard. Oh my goodness, it gave Paul and I such a good time to watch our teenage kids running around searching for their coins, and believe me, we made it really hard for them to find. This kept the Easter spirit going in our household for a lot longer. So have a happy Easter. Keep your traditions tight. Stay true to your values, whatever they are, and have a wonderful, peaceful, fun time with your family and friends during the Easter break. I'm Kate Mason. Thank you for listening to Parenting and Personalities. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could leave a rating and a review that would help others learn about this podcast. If you're interested in discovering more about your family's personality types, you'll find Who Is This Monster or Treasure in My House on Booktopia or Amazon. If you have an episode idea, please send a note to thepersonialitycoach@gmail.com. Many thanks to our producers at Stories and Strategies, and we'll see you next time.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.